What's up, Spartan Nation? It's Jacob Katsuniki here, back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. It is now Thursday, October 9th, getting closer and closer to Michigan State's first home game in nearly a month, coming up for homecoming against the UCLA Bruins. It's as far as a game between a 3-2 team and a 1-4 team goes, it's about as interesting as you're gonna get. Michigan State needs, and I mean needs, a win in this one if they want any shot at a successful season moving forward. UCLA, again, they beat Penn State. They beat, great for them. No, that's not easy for anyone to do. It wasn't easy for Oregon to do. Oregon's one of the best teams in the country, and they beat Penn State. So, but then you look at the other games, and that's part of what makes this. It's going to almost certainly be the biggest upset of the season in college football. Is they lost 35-10 to New Mexico at the Rose Bowl, the same stadium where Penn State lost in. So it's interesting all around. UCLA's trying to pull off another upset. Joe Rossi on Wednesday said they're basically like a new team. He thinks like kind of the shift they've had is more mental than just anything they're doing schematically. That's differently because you can't just blow up the whole scheme in the middle of the season, even if the people below the coordinators that have all either been fired or have left voluntarily. You can't just change everything in the middle of the season. It's only going to make things worse if it's confusing. So, as far as UCLA, I mean, we're gonna focus on Michigan State's offense today because the offense was not good. It just was not good all around. More specifically on the offensive line, Michigan State didn't do anything really all game offensively. They had those couple of drives that were really nice. Like they had that really long touchdown drive. It was almost 10 minutes, but you just kind of looked at it. It was like, I don't know how sustainable it truly was. There wasn't any explosives during the drive to just boom, boom, boom. Again, they were off schedule the entire night. They were 2 for 14 on third downs. The average down to go distance on those third downs was about 8, and you didn't have a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 2. You just didn't have that, and that's a big reason Nebraska won that game. Is that Michigan State's offense was just truly not effective overall. Again, 2 for 14. Looking at it right now, 2 for 14 on the day. Michigan 3.5 yards of play. I don't know how. Really, 27 points is impressive with that. With 3.5 yards of play, that's. Normally, I'd associate 3.5. That's for Iowa football. That would be something offensively. That is real difficult to do. Michigan State 240 yards of offense. You just can't. You're not going to win football games doing that. MSU's defense, I think, played fine. Looking at 261 yards of offense allowed, and again, it was that and the special teams that just compounded and allowed, for Nebraska to put up 38 points. Not great, but I don't think it was the defense great wasn't good. Wasn't good, but it was a lot better than it was against USC. So, the offensive line, tackles. The tackles need to be better. I'm Captain Obvious saying that right now. They decided, again, they're without their starting left tackle, Stanton Ramil. That's never easy to lose your left tackle. Again, he's protecting Gaten Childs' blind side. If you have to go to the second best option for that, you're never really feeling great. But again, there was one of two ways that Michigan State was going to go when Ramil went down. It was move Connor Moore from starting. He starts at right tackle and move him over to the left side, which I believe he did at Montana State. Was a starter there. They were really good, FCS runners up. And then move in Ashton Lepo to the right side. He started at right tackle last year for Michigan State, but to put it, there's a reason they went and got Connor Moore out of the portal, and it showed on that game. Moore wasn't good either, really, on the left side. But again, I kind of have to give him some slack because when you're just moving from the right to the left side all season long, even if you do have that versatility, it's just tough mentally on a guy because it's so different. Because it's constantly switching from your writing with your right hand and then going to your left. It's just different techniques all around, just slightly different changes. It's difficult. Lepo doesn't have that. He's always played right tackle. He played all of right. He only played right tackle all of last season, and it was just not good. It was, to put it nicely, it just wasn't good. It didn't work. The offensive line just never had anything going on. And this was against, I think, honestly, the disheartening part about it is that Nebraska's pass rush is bad. You would never think that watching that game. You would never think that Nebraska's pass rush has had similar issues to Michigan State's. Both Michigan State and Nebraska came into that game with 6 sacks apiece through 4 games. Michigan State actually won the sack battle. It was 5-4, I believe, in that regard. But Nebraska actually got a couple more yards. But the snap by snap pressure that Aiden Childs had to deal with was just ridiculous. And again, that's usually it's going to be on the tackles. The guards weren't amazing either. Matt Goldman's fine. But just all around wasn't doing nearly enough in pass protection. Going through it right here. Pro Football Focus, again, not gospel numbers, but it's something. 23, a combined, again, I think they can credit 2 different players with a credit with a pressure on the same snap, so sometimes you have some overlap here. But 23 total pressures for Nebraska pass rushers on that game. I mean, what's Childs supposed to do there? 17 hurries. Good luck. Did Childs play well? No. It was a tough game for him. It was the lowest yards per attempt he's ever had in a game at Michigan State. But, to some level, he's struggling, and I'm kind of sitting there, and I'm like, what's he supposed to do? The pocket's collapsing instantly. He has to get rid of the ball. He's going to hurry it. Was the accuracy great when he had time? No. But, he's hurrying it, and they're making a problem in that game, the accuracy, even worse by making him throw it quicker earlier, and that led to one of those interceptions, I believe, he threw. So it's just kind of like those small things just compounding it. It's butterfly effect, One of the offensive tackles doesn't do their job on a snap. It makes Aiden Childs hurry the ball. It sails high, goes right to Deshaun Singleton. He had both of those interceptions for Nebraska. He picks it off. And then, it gives Nebraska the ball back in great field position, which they did all day, and they take advantage of a shorter field. It's just those small things lead to 7-point swings or more. And Michigan State's not doing those small things on the offensive line. They weren't good in run blocking either. That honestly was just as bad because Nebraska's run defense was terrible through the first couple of games. They were in the hundreds, ranked in the hundreds in the FBS in terms of run defense, rushing yards allowed per game. And Michigan State didn't do anything on the ground. And it wasn't because of poor decisions from Mekhi Frazier or Brandon Tolis. There wasn't any room to run. And I don't know if this isn't really an offensive line issue, but just all the runs felt so predictable. Almost every first down, it was just run. Just a lot of, from offensive coordinator Brian Lindgren, it just felt predictable throughout the game. I don't know how many times they threw on first down, but it sure felt like it didn't feel like they threw it a whole lot on first downs. It was just run, unsuccessful, and then maybe you throw in a pass on second down and it usually wouldn't work because, again, Nebraska had the number 1 pass defense in the country. They still do, and it just generally it was not working. I'm counting now all of Aiden Childs' pass attempts on first down, and we're looking at a third of them. He through his first 16 pass attempts, we're looking at 4 of them being on first down. And we're talking basically that's almost all that's all entirely in the first half. That's all in the first half. 16 pass attempts, 15 pass attempts in the first half, 1 in his first one of the second half, 4 of them. Very few on first down. He had a couple in the second half, but so many of them are on long third downs. We have just so many situations where it's third and long, and they're going to pass. And Nebraska's secondary is good enough. Excuse me again with the coughing. I've been a little under the weather lately. Nebraska's passing defense is good enough to where if they know you're going to pass, it's just not going to work. They have the dudes back there to prevent you from doing that. And again, it always goes back to the offensive line. You got to protect on third down as well. But to prevent those third downs, they need to do a better job run blocking here to get to those third and shorts, to maybe convert on second down instead of forcing it into like those do or die third downs where if we don't get it, we got to punt. UCLA, they better do it. Like if they can't get push against UCLA, we got problem. There's already a problem, but we really got problems if they can't get some push against UCLA. Worst run defense in the Big Ten. It doesn't matter if you do total yards allowed per game or if it's yards per attempt. They're 18th out of 18 teams in the Big Ten in terms of rushing yards allowed. It's just if you can't run the ball against UCLA, how are you going to run against Indiana? In 2 weeks, how are you going to run against Michigan? Penn State, how are you going to run against them? Those are good defenses that Michigan State still has to face on their schedule. Going through the air, they can't rush the passer. There's a reason they were 0-4. I mean, they're not good. They're just not a good team. I don't know how they beat Penn State still. It's still it's tough for me to wrap my brain around that, to be honest. They have 5 sacks through 5 games. What's funny is that their leading sack guy is Anthony Jones, Michigan State. Played for Michigan State last year. He's 1.5. After that, it's a Michigan transfer, tied for second, Kashawn Bennett. I don't know if I said that right, but like was Anthony Jones a tremendous pass rusher for Michigan State? He had 2 for Michigan State last year. If he's your top guy, it's not going to go amazing. It's really not going to go amazing for you, and it hasn't for UCLA. So Childs better have time to throw, and when he does throw, it better not be on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 every time. So that's the thing you got to be looking for. They need a good day for the offense to be in rhythm, to move the ball down the field and score some points. If they don't, you kind of have to hit I don't want to say hit the panic button, but it's going to get tough because the schedule doesn't get any easier because this is the easiest game left on the schedule for Michigan State. But that's all I have for you guys today. I'm Jacob Katsunika once again. Keep coming in here to watch these podcasts and keep going to Michigan State Spartans on SI for more Michigan State coverage. Hockey's starting back up. Basketball's getting closer and closer, and obviously football is still ongoing. But I'll be there for everything possible, and I'll see you guys around.